Hello there, Quicksilver Slash, and today I have the first of what will probably be a fair number of ranked videos from this season of Ranked number 6. And all I can say is I hope everyone else is having a lot more success than me, because I have been finding it painful. The meta is shifting all over. You seem to wind up in one game that's like 4 cruisers with 3 destroyers, no battleships, and then you'll wind up in another that's all battleships with like 1 cruiser and 1 destroyer. And I kind of wish Matchmaker could do a little better job, but until there's more people at kind of the 10 to 5 bracket, I just know it's not going to happen, and everyone's shifting about trying to find, a ship to have some success in. And for the most part, I've been driving my Bliskovica, but I decided I wanted a bit of a change, so I hopped into my Flint and decided to put her to work. And this game, like many others, I kind of went into it feeling like I really have to do work. If I don't have what, feels like just this great game, I find my teams aren't winning. And that's probably the most frustrating thing about Ranked. When you're in a random battle, even if you have a mediocre game, there's still a very high chance of you winning. But in Ranked, it just seems you almost have to carry. And you shouldn't have to, because everyone should be about the same skill, but for one reason or another, if I'm not doing 60,000 damage and getting 1 or 2 kills every single game in my Bliss, the team I'm on just loses. Sometimes it's even worse than that. Anyways, lit a fire there. First of their ships is down, and this one's feeling good already. And one of the things destroyers have to learn this season, with the radar cruisers about, you cannot afford to go just charging in. You have to be patient. And I think that's a lot of what is hurting teams, is you have a lot of ships being a little too aggressive. And a little extra patience would pay off greatly. You can see I've got my Hydra up. The Flint doesn't have a radar, but I don't need it right now. That Atlanta's not lit. And I just keep shooting them. Eventually my shells are going to find them, and with the reload on the Flint, it's not really hurting me and nothing else is in range. So the other thing I'm sure everyone has noticed who is playing is it's another season of smoke. It shouldn't come as a huge surprise. The one downside is the only ships at tier 7 with radar are premium vessels. So it does feel like you have to pay a little bit to really have a chance at winning, because if you have a team with no radar against a team with radar, you're just at a natural disadvantage. Fortunately, we seem to be keeping most of them spotted, and it's allowing me to just put volleys on. And you can see, every time that Atlanta gets spotted, I just snap back, hoping to get some shots in. I'm going to start laying some smoke here for this Scharnhorst, and just work my way over to try to get shots at that Atlanta. In the meantime, putting IFHE and Demolition Expert to some pretty good work on this Colorado, and man, I feel sorry for battleships when they can't return fire. He closed into 7k, no problem for me to hit. 2 to 3,000 damage a volley, plus all those chances of fire, and his damage, or his health, is just gonna vanish. I've got torpedoes that look to be going in a pretty good direction. I just kind of put them at the edge of land there in case the Atlanta pokes out, or the Colorado turned, and well, the Colorado did turn. And was well clear of them, until you'll see right here, he starts to turn back, and this is where things start to go wrong for him. And I'm actually going to use this moment to bring up another point. If you're in a destroyer, don't just fire torpedoes at the absolute edge of your range. Like, the only reason these are going to hit that Colorado is because I got well inside of my range to any of the targets before firing them. I've had 2 or 3 situations where I've been team killed now by a friendly destroyer who just locked onto something through the torpedoes because the gray bar said so, and the target they were aiming at was like 4 or 5 kilometers outside their range. So you driving around in front of them aren't expecting it. It's one thing if you're all tight and close, you kind of expect destroyers to throw the torpedoes. but you're not expecting it when the nearest target to the destroyer that you're working with is 5 kilometers outside their potential range. Like, they're not shooting at anything in that situation. And as a result, I got killed. The one time on one side of a rock that the enemies were on the opposite side on, our destroyer just fired every single one of the torpedoes right at the rock. And I feel bad for the Stratsu because that is going to be a heavy hit, as will this. Unfortunately, I'm not sticking around because despite one wave of torpedoes going by, the Stratsu does have that torpedo cooldown booster, and they basically get 16 torpedoes every 4 minutes. Which, when driven right with their camouflage, does make them very effective ships. And next up is this Bliss, and he's dead. You can see he's spotted just outside his detection, but he fired his guns there at one point. So 20 or 30 seconds, and 20 or 30 seconds on this ship is a solid 5 to 6 volleys. Finish him off, and I get the double strike as one of my torpedoes hits the Belfast, who I kind of just threw those, going, you know, he's 5k away, I'll put him down this channel, that way he can't turn into it, and it ran right into him. So that leaves only one battleship and one destroyer. We're all still alive, so thankfully this one should be a win. But at the same time, I had to kill 4 different ships, and yeah, it wasn't all the health on a bunch of them, and we did stay really well grouped up, and that helps. When your team stays grouped together, you're typically going to have a little more success. Too often I'm seeing teams splitting, or 1 or 2 destroyers going, oh, I'll go to the other cap, which is fine, you can do that. But you can't go to the other cap and dive in so deep you have no support. So a good example is, say the team on this map decides to go to A, one BB or one DD may decide, you know what, I'm going to go to B, I'm going to harass, but if they go past this point, they have 0 support, and they're 100% going to get spotted. If you're going to the off cap, stay well wide. Give them some time to get there to see if that's somewhere they're going. Because if you don't do that, you're going to get caught out, and you're going to die, and then your team's going to be mad at you because you threw yourself away, you know, 2-3 minutes into a match. Keep yourself alive, and odds are you can win. You know, if you're dying as a DD inside those first 3 or 4 minutes, you are hurting your team. There's just no ifs and buts, so play a little cautiously. Yeah, lay the smoke. If you think you can get into a cap, try it. But the caps don't matter that much. They only start to matter when, you know, one's been held for 5 minutes. But otherwise, you know, let the enemy team have the cap. Throw your torpedoes, smoke your allies, fall back, try to flank, get spotting. That's really the best way to go about it. And at this point, it's just a Stratsu to hunt down, and I'm going to save us both some time and just hop to the post battle because, well, the Stratsu has 5.8 kilometer detection. It's going to take us a while, and sure, one guy on our team has RPF and is absolutely spamming the map, which, another thing, don't do it. Hit it once. People are generally pretty smart and can figure out where a ship is. You know, I'm naturally driving in the direction, and the guy just continues to ping. Anyways, onwards to the post-battle. Well, that was certainly quite the match. I was surprised to get the double strike. I kind of launched those torpedoes. Didn't look like that Belfast was going to drive into them, and all of a sudden I saw the icon pop up and was rather pleased. All told though, 450,000 credits, 4,500 experience, you know, high caliber, double strike, 83,000 damage, 187 shells. 4 kills that I think really helped the team out. I was going for the Kraken at the end there, but I just couldn't make it happen. And when you look at the experience, 2,031. And throughout this season, it has definitely seemed like if you're not having a great game, you have no chance of winning. Like, I felt pretty much every one of my wins, I've done way more than my fair share of damage, and it was 100% necessary. And that's what's kind of a little frustrating at times with ranked. Like, you'd think, you know, 60k and 2 kills in a Belfast would be enough, or the almost 80k and 3 kills I had in my Flint the one game. We were up 3-0, and the other team came back, and, you know, maybe as I make it a little higher, things will start to smooth out a little, as I get ahead of some of the potatoes I have certainly seen, but that's ranked. As far as damage, 42,000 to that Colorado, and then, Belfast 8 to Torpedo, worked on that Atlanta a good bit, and made that Pliskovica pay. And then some shots and the other things. That Shiratsu, I really do wish I could have killed, because a Kraken in ranked is always a bit of a special achievement. Either way, end of the day, Flint is a premium ship, 373,000 credits, 4,500 experience, and almost 20,000 commander experience. And the reason for this is, high base XP, but there's the commander boost event on, I killed a British ship, I've got my flags running, and some people wonder why I run flags on my 19-point commanders. But the way I see it, it's the best place to run them because it just generates that XP you can drop onto other commanders. So, typically your 19-point commander is in a ship you enjoy, so why not use that ship to help boost up some commanders that maybe don't get as much work. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this. I hope for those of you that are playing ranked, it's going better than my season has gone. And if you did like it, consider giving it a thumbs up or subscribing to the channel. And as always, I'm Quicksilver Slash, and I'll have another one for you guys tomorrow.